Friars Walk was once a bustling shopping centre. Now it's a cautionary tale of retail decay. Used as a post-apocalyptic wasteland for the entertainment of the public.
One of the major anchor stores had actually went bankrupt. It was the old C&A. So they went bankrupt in 2001, and then a number of other stores started to leave. And a couple of years later, they developed and built the Oracle Centre, which is a big, modern, multiplex, lots of stores placed just up the road, and that effectively killed this building off.
This shopping centre in Reading closed in 2004. It now hosts experience events playing out in a derelict battle zone. At the weekend, you can pay good money to be chased around by the remnants of human civilization. Here we have survivors. Oh, hello. Are you bad or good?
I would say morally ambiguous.
Oh, really?
To begin with. Because it is the apocalypse, no one's on either side really, it's all just chaos.
So what do you do Monday to Friday?
So I work in IT project management.
It's been a period of devastation. From Toys R Us to Maplin, House of Fraser to Pound World, New Look, Mothercare, Carpetright. Is it only the beginning? This isn't just about the economy. Real incomes have been squeezed, but this is more fundamental. We are spending our money on different things and in different places. The long-term fallout of online is only just becoming clear. We simply don't need so much shopping space. The horror show is less obvious in London's retail heartland, where millions have been spent upgrading Regent Street. Mark Williams represents retailers, property owners and investors.
We estimate that roughly 40% of the total retail floor space we've got is going to be surplus due to all the shifts and changes through technology, through consumer behaviour and shopping habits.
So 40%, and is that high streets, is that shopping centres?
It's across the piece, because the impact through primarily the internet means that we don't need to shop in the same way, both in terms of number of stores, but also in the size of stores. So for example, John Lewis have just announced to go to Croydon. They're taking 165,000 square feet for John Lewis and Waitrose. Their typical format was 250,000 square feet. So you can see they're already shrinking how much space they take.
If the UK needs to lose 40% of its retail space, this year's closures are just the beginning. So what happens to all that square footage? Well, target where there actually is growth. Barbershops, hair and beauty salons, cafes and coffee shops, nail bars and restaurants. Services and leisure, barely a traditional retailer to be found. When a big shop closes, it's less likely than ever to be redeveloped as another big shop. So some BHS units are being broken up and redeveloped as other things: offices, gyms, cafes, restaurants. But some retailers also want to go beyond flogging stuff. Lululemon sells sportswear, most famously for yoga.
Press into the ground.
This is Animal Flow. Lululemon has some space dedicated to what it calls its community in all stores, and they all offer free classes.
Oh, that was so good.
Outside in the old Spitalfields market, food stalls and local art projects sit side by side with upmarket clothes and beauty brands. Now that we can buy from our desks or our sofas, going shopping may be an endangered activity. This consultant argues shops need to figure out how to appeal to a new breed of shopper. Is this optional for any retailers, or do you just have to start addressing those markets, or risk oblivion?
So I think there are very few retailers today that can get away with essentially doing business as usual. And that's what we're seeing around us on the high street now. So I think for a long time it was more about providing access, distribution, getting goods into the market. But products alone are no longer enough. I would say it's quite seismic, this shift.
But when trying to get customers through the door, is there a danger shops fall back on gimmicks?
Is it enough simply to add a DJ? Is it enough to add a 3D printer? You need to understand how to be part of their lives, ongoing. And a campaign, while it might get attention, it's not particularly long-standing.
The reality is that not many places get the flagship treatment. A big retailer might have 1 or 2 stores nationally. So where does that leave a smaller shopping centre when a glitzier rival opens down the road, or a smaller town when a big name pulls out? Welcome to Wakefield. In the 80s, the Ridings was an award-winning shopping centre using the best retail savvy from the US. But it's been fighting against the new retail order. Kate Hardcastle was brought in to help.
A competitor that was shiny and new opened up just a few yards away, and that's stolen a lot of the custom, a lot of the excitement and attention, and unfortunately this is what's happening all over the UK.
The Ridings is regenerating by focusing on the local community. A monthly get-together for pensioners, better facilities for small children, and a determination to do it all with a bit of local flavour.
This is a brand that I saw in a market, and I just thought it was brilliant. These baby grows particularly were very successful, with the kind of Yorkshire pudding made up north. It's affordable, it's local, it's a celebration of what we're about here.
Victory isn't assured, but customer visits are up despite the drag of vacant units. Shops have come out to make way for more food and leisure space. Kate thinks that relying on big national chains won't work anymore.
Stop being a repeat of the next village, the next city, the next high street. We've got so much to talk about, and our communities are really quite different in themselves, and we should be celebrating that. People like the idea of belonging, of coming from somewhere, so celebrate it and use that. We've become these homogenised high streets of the 90s. If you didn't have this brand and that coffee shop, it just didn't work. Whereas actually I think there's a rebellion against that.
It's clear that retail is going to take a beating. Protecting our high streets and shopping centres from a dystopian future may require government intervention, but retail will need to adapt to survive.